Hey guys, Dislitter Magic here, and one of these takes I'm gonna do an intro that doesn't suck. But since we both know that's not true, I'm leaving this version in. It's time for the Black Edition of the weirdest, most powerful, most amazing, most astonishing, excellent cards spoiled so far. And I am skipping over a card if I know that I covered it in the text-based spoiler. And also the initial video that had a couple card spoilers. If I already covered it in that, then why cover it again? So anyway, this video is the Black Edition, which means you can set that multiplier at whatever you want. If you can get up to 4.8 gigahertz, more power to you. Just make sure you cool it properly. So first up, Lingering Phantom. This is a 6 cost, so it's like, yeah, it's good, but I mean, come on, it costs 6. Kind of should be. Not playable in every deck, not even playable, period, without a little bit of ramp, usually, unless you've got a really well-timed deck or a fetch card or something, but either way, whenever you cast a historic spell, you may pay 1 black. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand, and then for 6, play it again. It's not direct to the battlefield, but I mean, come on, it's a 5/4 that potentially keeps coming back over and over and over. That's just pretty good. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's pretty good. If you had an entrance battlefield effect, watch out. So next up, we've got Yogg, Moths, Vile, Offering, one of the legendary sorceries. So you can only cast it if you have a legendary creature or planeswalker in place. So in other words, no. Oh, you're going to use this to turn the game around? Not anymore. Legendary sorceries are universally worthless and useless, but whatever, this card's still pretty powerful, which is kind of the point. It's a 5-cost sorcery, of course, and put up to 1 target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard, so any player's graveyard, onto the battlefield under your control, permanently by the way. Destroy up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. Damn, so it's a universal removal on top of it. I mean, that's like a hero's downfall right there. And then exile Yogg, Moths, Vile, Offering, because obviously you would just Torrential Gearhulk it. This card is insane. I mean, the problem is it has to already be in the graveyard. So if you want their most powerful creature, it's probably still in play unless you already destroyed it. But this is a black card, and black likes to destroy things and put stuff into the graveyard. So maybe you made them discard it. I mean, it's not like impossible to set up something like that. So with the right circumstances, you could go get a giant zombie dinosaur. That would be pretty sweet. Next up, Cabal Paladin. It's a 4/2 for 4, so nothing too special, but it is a human knight. Might find some synergy there. And whenever you cast a historic spell, Cabal Paladin deals 2 damage to each opponent if you manage to grant it lifelink. Because of the phrasing, that would actually work. This card is at common, which is pretty sweet. It's easy to kill this, but is it worth it? Like, is it really worthwhile to remove this as opposed to something else? Maybe, maybe not. But just think about that. You cast like 3 spells after this comes out. That's 6 extra damage. I mean, that's almost like giving this thing trample. So, I mean, 2 at a time for something you're already doing. Any kind of black drain away effects, curses, you know, Torment of Scarabs, that kind of stuff. That witch curse flippy thing. Well, I mean, that was Eldritch Moon, but still, cards like that. Stab Wound, I mean, they're subtle, but they're good. So this is just plain a solid card in the right deck. Next up, Divest. I already hate this card. Everybody hates this card. If they got rid of this mechanic from black permanently, nobody would bat an eyelash. Okay, if you looked at the top 5 cards that were just ruining Standard over the last 5 years, all 5 of them are Thoughtseize. Just kidding. Marvel, Ugin, Collected Company, come on. So yeah, I mean, like, Duress goes way back, and, you know, all the other different little clones of this. Inquisition of Kozilek. This is, like, traditional. I should probably just read it, by the way. Target player reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature card from it. That player discards the card. It costs 1. That's it. Nothing fancy. You don't lose any life, nothing. So you get to see their entire hand, and then handpick what you want gone and get rid of it. That was voted the #1 most obnoxious, disruptive, overpowered pile of garbage in, I believe it was Modern. The last time that they took a poll, I think it was on Goldfish of pro players, or maybe it was on Twitter. I don't know. Wherever it was, pro players across the board said they hate hand disruption. It's their #1 least favorite thing. And you back up like 10, 15 years, it was land destruction, believe it or not. I mean, if they can just disassemble your perfect starting hand and then they just continue on with the game, that can't happen and you still win. It's just, it's too disruptive. So I hate garbage like this. So they thought, let's take Thoughtseize and take away the 2 life penalty. And yeah, you can't grab just any card, but I mean, creature or artifact, I mean, what does it not stop? Burn? There might be an enchantment you really want gone, I guess, but people tend to win games with creatures. That is the most typical. So getting rid of one of those with the artifact option, especially with vehicles, it's ridiculous. I already hate this card. And guess what? It's in the common slot. Wonderful. Hey, Des, did you put that card on the list just to complain about it? Yes, I did. But also, it's powerful. I mean, it's not like it doesn't fit. So next up, this is just interesting, okay? Not only is this insanely powerful, but it's interesting. The Eldest Reborn. Okay, there were, I usually say 3, somebody else told me 5, so we'll just say 4 because I know for a fact that's not correct. 4-ish Elder Dragons on Dominaria. They're all dead except for Nicol Bolas, so was he the eldest? Was he the firstborn dragon? I want to say yes, and that looks like him in the photo, but there's like these weird tentacles, but maybe it's stylized, and like that doesn't really look like his tail, and I don't know. The face and the head are there, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the other Elder Dragons look like, although I thought one of them was Ugin, but I think somebody told me that wasn't correct either. Well, and then there's like Daragaz, which, I mean, I know somebody killed him and it was with that sword, and then I think the guy who killed him was called like the Dragon Slayer, but Daragaz was like a reincarnated primeval, which may or may not have been a dragon. It's a mess, but I'm going to give you my theory, which is based on literally nothing. That's not Nicol Bolas on the artwork, it's Nicol Bolas's secret twin sister, Nicol Bolas. And then it'll be revealed that there was only 4 Elder Dragons, and it was actually Nicol Bolas in Drag because that's what he feels like doing on the weekends, and he just didn't feel like telling anybody. He wanted to keep it a secret. But then Jace reads his mind, and then he's like, man, you into some freaky crap. And then Nicol Bolas is like, I don't tell you how to live your life. I don't do it for like weird pervy reasons. I do it for the art, okay? Drag is an art. Also, the tips and free drinks are pretty good, and the place I go has 25-cent Wing Tuesdays. You tell me you wouldn't put on high heels and lipstick for 25-cent wings. I would, and I did. And then Jason's like, okay, fair enough. So that's my official theory. We'll see if it's true when we read future chapters of the story. And remember, Martha Wells wrote it. Now what do you think about the probability of it being true? So anyway, what does this card do? It's a saga, so it starts out, you drop it in, boom, get 1 right away. You get 1 counter, and the effect goes off. So each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. So for 5, it's like, okay, whatever. It is each opponent. It's a, total EDH card here. And oh my god, it's another hyper overpowered uncommon. Like, the uncommons are better than the rares at this point in this set. Actually, the rares are garbage. The mythics look pretty good. It's kind of weird. All right, so number 2, each opponent discards a card. Once again, absolutely mental. And then third, put target creature or planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. This just screams multiplayer Commander. I mean, Commander players are going to lose their damn minds over this card. This is going in my Commander deck. This is just like crazy powerful. I mean, the restriction is the timing is like, okay, exactly 2 turns from when I drop it in, I have to have something good in some graveyard. But remember, you forced each opponent to sacrifice a creature or planeswalker when you dropped it in, and then you made them discard a card. So they're obviously going to, sacrifice their least valuable creature and then discard their least valuable card. But if they're down to, limited options, you're going to have something good and then you're going to resurrect it. So, I mean, this is 5. That's not really that high. I consider 6 to be like in danger of not being playable a very high portion of the game, without ramp, obviously. But this is just crazy. And if you found a way to like flicker this, oh my gosh. I can't even think of a weakness. What, it doesn't trigger Revolt? I guess technically. This card's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. By the way, if this is Nicol Bolas on the artwork, what do you think it means? Like they kill him on Dominaria and then he's reborn or something? I feel like that would be a mythic. And these are supposed to be historic, as in they already happened. Well, Ugin's the only dragon I know of that came back to life. Otherwise, I mean, obviously Daragaz, but did he look like that? I mean, I don't know. So what this card implies with no flavor text is up to anybody's guess, but it's very interesting because of that, but also hyper powerful. So do not neglect it. Next up, even more control. Man, do I love black control. I mean, it fits better because it's a better balance for black because their creatures aren't like out of control. When white gets really good control and creature removal, then you have to worry because their creatures are amazing. They tend to have lifelink, be flying, they have first strike, double strike. They're just better than black creatures in general. They're a little bit less tricky, they're more straightforward combat tricks, but you know, I like to see black have the best creature removal and control. So here we go, cast down. Or as I like to call it, play Dominaria or lose. Destroy target non-legendary creature. This does absolutely nothing to Dominaria, basically, because every card worth playing is legendary just about. Or at least I should say every creature. I guess, I mean, it's instant speed and it's not double black. They really should have made it either sorcery or double black or both. I think that would have been a good balance. But at least it doesn't also say Planeswalker, because that would literally just be like Hero's Downfall, but completely out of control on cost. So yeah, this card's nuts. Absolutely nuts. I don't like it. It's unfair. Clear as day, the point was, hey, play Dominaria or this card's going to haunt your nightmares. It's just with the unbelievable level of unreliability printed right on this card, given the state of standard, will anybody actually mainboard this? And if it's just a sideboard threat to replace, you know, whatever, I was going to say Hero's Downfall or Murder. I don't think either of those are still legal. Just whatever, black spell. Do you really have to fear it that much? Probably not. I don't think anybody's really going to play this in Standard. I think it might take off in Modern because it's like, what's really legendary? I mean, I can name a couple, but I could name quite a few more that are not legendary that would get nuked by this, like Snapcaster, Tarmogoyf, apparently not Tasigur, apparently he is legendary, whoops. But yeah, this will definitely be something you're hearing about, is cast down, for sure. Next up, Urgoros, the Empty One. Oh my gosh, does that look cool. It's like Mr. Hammer-headed, I can't turn my head without stabbing myself, dude, with the same thing, but on a dragon. It's like some cheap Lord of the Rings ripoff. This is so nuts. And I have no idea who this is in the story. It must be like another of the Demon's Generals or something. I have no idea. What I do know is that black flying specter subtypes have been nuts in the entire history of the game in black. You ever heard of a little card named Shimmy Inspector? You equip Godsend to that, they might as well just give up and flip the table. So get this, he's a 4/3 flyer for 6, which is obviously garbage, but whenever he deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card at random, and if they can't, you draw a card. So either way, card advantage while killing them in the air. Really good combination of things you want to happen, and it's a free recurring trigger. Unfortunately, 3 damage will take him down, but you really think this would be a better card at 3/5 flying? Well, I mean, yeah, but not like for the fairness and fun of the game, so, you know, no. And that's it for the noteworthy black cards so far. There was a Mythic Demon that was spoiled, but it's really nothing special, so it didn't make it to this video. But I'm sure we'll see more because, I mean, honestly, not all the Mythics have been spoiled. But boy, have you guys noticed that all the best cards are in Uncommon? Crazy. So I can't wait to see this set when it comes out, and I'll see you guys next Drag Show.